Welcome back. I'm Kim Bailey. He's Jamie Wadley, and this is Inside Exec. Today we are joined by Dr. Riza Kadilar, and he's going to talk to us about inclusion. It's a topic that we haven't really touched on in the way that he's going to talk to us about it. So we're very interested to see how we can work the discussion today. And we know that he has had a very long day today. He joins us from the Netherlands, having been in Germany just earlier in the day, or started out the day in Germany, whilst we've been luxuriating in the easy climate that is Australia at this time of year. So welcome, and thank you for having some time to share with us today.
My pleasure, and thank you for hosting me. Thank you.
So we will start talking about inclusion and what that means. Our first question was that our listeners range from CEOs to those just beginning their careers. How would you define inclusion for them?
All right. I remember you sent me these questions, but frankly, I just wanted to let it go impromptu, spontaneous, so I didn't really prepare anything. Inclusion, the way the definition is in the book, to be seen, to be heard, feel respected, to be safe, to be secure, and to have the willingness to perform your best, to be at your best. This is the kind of definition that I give because it's an emotion. It's not an action plan. It's not a kind of strategy. It's just an emotion, whether you feel included or not. And one of the reasons I talk about it is because there are many things we can cover in our conversation. We live in an era where we are expected, and also with better, to co-create with our differences. So different people coming together or working from a distance, remote areas and everything. So we have seen lots of evidence that diversity is at its best when we know how to co-create with different people, different ways of thinking, different ideas, different ideologies, and everything. So at the end of the day, whether we will see that will continue that way, or we're gonna go back to historical patterns of humanity, I don't know. But we live in an era where this is important. So that's why I define inclusion as I said, to be seen, to be heard, to be at your best, to feel respected, secure, and safe, but also to really be willing to perform as you wish. It's a feeling.
Yeah.
It's very nice to hear the respect word is as part of that thinking. I can see how that would lead to when you said the KPI. I think the KPI with respect there is how I feel when I'm in the group and I feel safe to be able to speak my mind rather than be shackled by, if I get this wrong, how will that reflect on me? And I think the idea flow would be much better as a result. So I think it's a good idea. It sounds simple, but I think it's quite deep in what the results would be.
It's simple but very complicated at the same time, Jamie. Because, for example, respect. We all want respect, isn't it? So we all want to feel respected. So it's just so simple. It's part of being human. But I called a colleague of mine, a professor in Albuquerque, New Mexico, in the University of New Mexico. She's originally from Mexico, and she lived, and now she has three grown-up children, all lived all through their lives in America, in US. And she really puts it so nicely because her parents, they wanna feel being respected, and their children also the same. But the way they define is totally opposite. So for the elderly, as you know, like being respected, being heard, being whatever, the respect as we do. But for the youngsters, they want to have the freedom to rebel, to say whatever they want, to come in and out at any time. And this is the way they define being respected because, yeah. And this kind of very simple, like equity, the concept. All those things are so simple. It's easy to say, but you want to really kind of understand what do we really mean with respect. It's not an easy topic.
It's interesting.
Goes nicely into our second question, which was, is it more difficult to maintain inclusion in a hybrid workplace? And how do we overcome the hurdles?
In which kind of workplace? I don't hear.
Hybrid. hybrid? So some working from home,
Yeah,
some,
good
yeah.
question. It is. It is very, very challenging. And I think personally, and there's such very many evidence, research based, you can read management thinking articles and everything. Hybrid is a great solution. Hybrid brings all the efficiency of the remote work, but also the all efficiencies of the culture building, human touch, and everything. Hybrid is great. But do we really know how to do it? I doubt it.
Mm.
Because in every hybrid environment that I've been in, either the people on remote or people in the room are being advantaged or disadvantaged. So finding the right balance and keeping it that way, it's a very big. I think we're gonna learn eventually that, or maybe not, because many companies are putting pressure to bring people back home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of the industries, for example, I know they are just going the other way around. For example, gaming industry, they said they will never be in the same room again. But these are not necessarily kind of helping the debate, because
Mm.
hybrid is really, really maybe the solution. And there are some halfways. For example, I know some companies, they don't require people to come to the office, but what they do, they create shared offices in many places where you can reach out to the one closest to you, so that you can still remote, but not necessarily all alone. Maybe small teams kind of connecting remotely and everything.
Mhm.
So we try. But I think feeling of inclusion is very challenging when it comes to hybrid, because in one way or another, when you really feel included, some people could feel excluded, or the other way around, because of
Mm.
this imbalance of the design of the work. Somebody has to design work. I think somebody did it like Industrial Revolution 200 years ago, and then 1970s or whatever, with organizational theory and everything. Maybe it's time to redesign work today, but we are not there yet.
Yes.
Well, we've had a lovely long conversation with you this morning. Is there anything that we haven't covered that you would like to share with our listeners?
Wow, there are, of course, but what we should be covering more? Um, Maybe privileges.
Okay.
Um, when we say privilege, we think about, like, status, money, blah blah, all those things, isn't it? But um, what is more striking, if you are using your right-handed people, they are privileged, because even the door handles are designed for people using their right hand. Okay.
This
Um,
is, let me just say, this is very relevant because Jamie is left-handed.
oh, really? Okay, Jamie, is it correct? Like,
Indeed, it is.
it is. And then you even don't notice the problem with privileges. They're a problem when you don't feel them. So when you believe that it's natural, I can walk. Luckily, I can still walk. It's a privilege. Many
Mm.
people cannot walk. And even
Yes.
really, my wife has a kind of ankle problem. The whole summer was like hell. So it's so difficult. So no system is really designed equally. Um, or being man, woman in many societies, being tall, short, whatever you name it. Like,
Mm.
many things we take for granted. Education, for example, is amazing. Education, we strive for it. We work hard for it. It's a kind of, we deserve to get whatever the privilege that comes with it. But at the end of the day, should it be at the expense of others people being excluded? And it's a
Yes.
question. It's a real question, because I think those people who are really the most endangered ones are the experts. I wouldn't like to be an expert of anything today, because
No.
all the technologies will attack you first. They claim
Exactly.
even more than you do, because they can collect all the data, blah, blah. You still say, I
Mm.
have wisdom, experience, whatever, but at the end of the day, being expert. And then all education, bringing all the expertise and status, it's also a barrier for inclusion. And if you don't include new ways of thinking, if you are not open enough for change, and if you're
Yeah.
not open to change, it's a tough life, because things do change around you, so you gotta adapt. So that's why I think privileges is something that we should be really thinking deeply,
Mm.
and be aware of, even the very simplest things that we don't feel like a privilege, but they are. And they should be a barrier for inclusion because then it will block our growth, our adaptability, our change.
Yeah, yeah. And just as you're saying it, I'm thinking across the board, you know, it's a privilege in this country because there's such distances, to be close to a shopping centre. It's a privilege to have a reliable internet service, which Jamie and I, neither of us have. And yet, you know, we have businesses that we have to run. And so it covers such a broad area. I'm really glad that you brought it up, because it will make our listening audience think a little bit more about the privileges that they do take for granted across the board. Yeah. Lovely.
So thank you.
There we have a quick introduction to our conversation with Dr. Riza Kadilar. The episode's audio versions will be available. The first part is available on the 25th of November and the second part on the 2nd of December. So they will be available through your usual channels, iTunes or Amazon Podcasts or RSS feed from the website. For now, I'm Kim Bailey, he's Jamie Wadley, and this is Inside Exec.